room to wait. From my window I can see them, houses lit like borrowed stars. Every window holds a story, mine just holds a piece of glass. There's a chair that still remembers how your hand would grip its back. I walk around it like an island, circle once then circle back. Somewhere upstairs, a song is playing, voices lay thin and bright, old words about a promised future hanging in the stairwell light. You once said these days are mirrors showing who we wish we were. Now the mirror's just a surface throwing my reflection back. I unwrap a box of nothing just to feel the paper tear. Sounds too loud in this small kitchen, like it's bouncing off the air. The clock insists that it's still morning, though my head has walked all year. Each second lands with gentle footsteps in the room that used to hold you here. They say be grateful you remember, as if memory were pure relief. But every scene my mind recycles has a quiet, sharpened edge beneath. From my window I can see them passing dishes, trading gifts. Their shadows move across the curtains like small unpunished little myths. There's a place set in my thinking where your voice should answer mine. I pour water in a second glass, let it stand there drawing lines. If time is just a way of saying that not everything can stay, then why does this particular morning insist on dressing up the day? If love was less a solid object and more a pattern in the air, then maybe what I miss is not you, but the fact that you were there. In the way you'd open windows even when the cold was sharp, saying let the day come find us or it'll sit out in the dark. Now the sound of distant singing crawls along the heating lines, tiny fragments of a chorus breaking into crooked rhymes. Every laughing shout that reaches feels like proof the world goes on, not in spite of all that's missing, but indifferent to what's gone. From my window I keep watching as the day unfolds its script, little rituals repeating around a single quiet shift. There is someone I can't talk to on a day built out of talk, so I pace between the sinking doorway, tracing ghosts in how I walk. There's meaning in this morning, in my living that small ache, in the fact my chest still tightens when I picture you're awake. And when afternoon leans over, filling up the narrow street, the light across the empty chair looks almost like a kind of peace. I don't pretend that I am better, that the day has fixed a thing, but I stand beside the window, let whatever voices sing. If the ache I feel is proof that you were once completely here, then this quiet aching Christmas is a way to keep you near. For one more year. The morning opens like an old book, pages curled from someone else's hands. Light at the edge of the curtain keeps trying to remember where to land. To the sound of nothing special, radiator breath, the car reversing. The calendar insists on ceremony, red numbers circling the daylight truth. The street is dressed in borrowed brightness, strings of color in the thinning frost. Someone somewhere is taking pictures, careful proof that they were here, not lost. Your cup still waits inside the cupboard, handle turned the way you like. I closed the door a little softer, as if it had a pulse to break. They call this day a kind of promise, wrapped in paper, tied with hope. But promises are just assumptions standing on a piece of rope. Christmas morning finds your absence better than I ever could. It sits exactly where you would have, breathing in the quiet wood. I pour coffee for one person, leave the second cup half dry. Steam dissolves into the window, draws your outline and lets it die. Downstairs someone's radio is singing a hymn about a borrowed room. A child laughs, a door swings open, all the ordinary kinds of bloom. The hallway smells of dust and pine, fantastic branches in a plastic stand. There's tinsel caught in the stairwell railing, little comets of a careful hand. We used to make fun of this season, its neat loops, its tidy cheer. Now the neatness feels like distance between the living and what's not here. I scroll through years and shrinking images, your face repeated, never old. Every photo a small refusal to admit that stories fold. They say this day is made for arrival, for footsteps at familiar doors. But some returns are only mental, and some don't happen anymore. Christmas morning spills its brightness on the shape you left behind. It fills your chair, your side of blankets, like a patient, quiet, aching mind. I wrap nothing in particular, just the fact that I still stay, breathing in this rented sunlight as if it knows another way. If nostalgia is a kind of kindness, then why does it sting behind the eyes? Why does every gentle memory carry teeth that never shows in time? I think of you in distant weather, drive, smoke in the air, your porch light hums, we don't care. Back door cracks, shoes in a pile, you open it up with that stupid smile. Hallway floor is a cold museum, someone's lost theirs, we don't look for them. Kitchen's full of half-warm food, we all forgot whose job was who. You're rolling up on a plastic plate, can't see your hands but it still looks great. Ashtray crowned like a tiny tree, you say that's enough, then add 3. There's wrapping paper on the TV stand, game pause, controller in your hand. You swear you're good, then wiping tears on the drawer. We lost the thread of why we cracked. Doesn't matter, we're not getting it back. We trap the holes, close the blinds, let the outside stay outside. Old songs playing through a blown out speaker. Voices off key, but the feeling's deeper. We got 6 chairs and 8 of us, sitting wrong, but nobody fussed. If this is what the holiday became, then cool, I'm down to keep it the same. Hands up if you duck the trip. Hands up if you skip that script. Hands up if you just need space, and this dumb night is your favorite place. We step outside just to cool our heads. Snow on the cars, tracks where we tread. Street is quiet, sky's all white. Our breath makes shapes in the porch light. You say this feels like when we were kids. I say we're still idiots, we just hid. We laugh so hard we forget the rest. Just standing there in second-hand best. We trap the halls while the night runs out. Talk too loud, forget to doubt. Same 4 walls, brand new scene. Everything soft, everything clean. We got no crown, we got no throne. Just this worn out couch and a borrowed home. If joy looks like a wrecked up space, then tape it up, I'll take that place. When everyone's gone and the house is a mess, there's cups in the sink and ash on your vest. But it feels like proof when the silence falls. We were here tonight. We trap these halls. We trap these halls. Morning rings before I'm ready. Lights spill slow across the floor. Someone's choir in the distance, practicing a borrowed joy. In the kitchen, steam is rising from a cup I didn't need.
I set a second place beside it.
Then pretend I didn't see
On the glass your name is breathing.
where my hand drags through the frost.
I watch it fade back into nothing.
Like a centennial in the bells,
With a girl,
like a frame in my the chair your winter jacket.
Sleepless day belongs to gathering, but all roads can bend back home. Some of us are left with doorways and a table set for one. I still hear you in the bells, in the strikes that miss the beat, in the way the sound keeps blooming long after it should recede.
I still hear you in the bells,
Every chime a quiet proof
that the ache I hold this morning
has your outline as its root.
If love was never built to save us, only change the way we see, then this missing that won't loosen is the clearest part of me. If time is just a room with hallways, every year another door, then this one opens on to absence and a brightness I ignore. I still hear you in the bells,
I still hear you in the bells,
when the city holds its breath,
when the morning feels too heavy.
when I do not trust what's left.
I still hear you in the bells,
Over traffic, over wires, in the thin line of this standard where the sky hangs full of wires. I still hear you in the bells, and it hurts, but that's the sign that you lived here in this body once upon a simpler time. I still hear you in the bells, as the daylight starts to fade. Every peal a small reminder love was real, though you were taken. I still hear you in the bells. I still hear you in the bells. When the street goes soft and dim, I stand watching from the window. Let the ringing hold you in. I still hear you in the bells. I still hear you in the bells. I still hear you in the bells. The calendar says it's time to feel a certain way. The room disagrees. The tree is up because it always was a plastic monument to muscle memory. I found the box behind your old coat, folded sleeves still holding your shape. The lights blink out of sync with my chest, one strand at the rest pretending. I drink something warm that doesn't help, watch steam climb and vanish like a thought. The neighbors aim their joy at the street, inflatable miracle shiver on the lawn. I see their shadows move behind the glass, everyone framed in gold like a painting that lies. Somewhere a choir hits the right notes on the first try, somewhere a toast lands on its feet. Here the only thing that clinks stuck better than we did. I still have your note in the ornament box, crushed between glass and tinsel dust. Next year, less noise, more meaning, the kind of line you can only write before anything actually breaks. I hang it back on the same weak branch, like I'm offering it another chance. It trembles every time the heater breathes, still holding on to a tree that never lived outside. The year wraps itself in snow, covers the evidence like a kind thief. Inside I rearrange the furniture like the right angle could fix the missing piece. So I'm talking to your shadow on the hallway wall, cast by things you never touched, as if the outline could answer back. All these songs about peace on earth leak through the ceiling from another floor. They don't know we declared a truce, still lost. Ritual is just repetition with better lighting. You hang the same shapes in the same places until they turn into a story. This mug, this chair, this stupid leaning star, they're witnesses, not participants. They don't care if we made it, they don't care that you're not here. They will outlast our explanations. Maybe that's what haunts me, not that you're gone, but that the room goes on, perfectly capable of being Christmas without you. I keep asking the wrong question, not why did you leave, but what does this mean now? A string of days dressed up as holy, a pattern drawn on the fogged up glass. We press our faces to it like children to the cold. If nothing lasts, why does this hurt so long? Tonight I'm a constellation with one star missing, still drawing the same shape out of habit. People see what they expect to see from far enough away, it looks complete. I raise a glass to the space you used to fill, it stays as empty as it should. There's a kind of honesty in that, a clean outline where you were. And all these lights keep blinking on schedule, tied to a clock, not to a heart. Maybe that's the quiet miracle. The world half knows what it's doing, even when I don't. Streetlight halos flicker weak, snow collects in the cracks of the concrete. Your name is frost on window pane. I wipe it off and it comes back again. We bought that plastic tree on sale, lopsided star, one broken nail. You said it fits our kind of love, crooked cheap but good enough. We drank cocoa from chipped white mugs, you laughed through your oversized gloves. We wrapped our wishes in old receipts, called it punk when it looked incomplete. That year the rent was overdue, we hid the letters under wrapping too. neighbor's house is glowing bright. Their windows leak out warm white light. Kids are screaming in the snow. I turn the TV volume low. Your scarf still hangs behind the door. Smells like dust and nothing more. I'll wear it once on Christmas Eve, just to see if I still believe. I found your note inside a box between the lights and tangle of clocks. Next year let's actually decorate, like time is something we could say. We carved our initials on the sill in a heart that never quite sat still. Every curve just slightly wrong, like the key of every song. Dead bulbs in December, blinking out inside my chest. All these songs about forever, faded static at their best. Candy canes go soft and bend on the plate we never use. You laugh and say it's on brand for the way we always lose. I still keep your contact in my phone. Scroll past it when I'm alone. The season feels like being late to a party at a house that's been erased. Strings of lights across the street look like hospital machines to me. Everything that used to pulse with life now just measures how it dies. You said if winter ever hurts too much, we'll leave the tree boxed in the truck. We'll drive until the nights grow short and call that city our new north. But I'm still frozen in this apartment with your shadow on the floor. All our plans in shallow cards act like crimes against the door. The clock blinks 3 a.m. in red, like a wound that never really bled. I pour 2 drinks without a thought, watch one of them go cold and clot. Dead bulbs in December, buzzing faint above my head. I keep jiggling the wire like it'll fix the things you said. The snow outside is turning gray, where the tires drag it thin. I trace circles on the window where your breath used to begin. Dead bulbs in December, I don't plug the new set in. Feels dishonest to replace what I refuse to ever sing. So I sit here with the boxes marked Xmas in your hands. Every light that doesn't turn on feels more honest than I can. Maybe we were just a season that the weather never kept. A cheap tree leaning in the corner, and a promise that we left. The room goes dark when I stand up. I leave the strand across the floor. Let the dead bulbs have December. I don't need them anymore. Sound arrives before the light. Bells drifting through thin old plaster, marking time I didn't ask to write. Downstairs, someone's kettle screaming. Radiator clicks its quiet teeth. The hallway smells of dust and pine, fake needles shedding on the wreath. My phone lights up with proof of daylight, photos from a different house, hands around ceramic angels, laughter caught and filtered out. I boil water, watch it circle, steam climbs slowly to the frame. On the fogged up pane I trace you, then wipe down your borrowed name.
They call this morning something holy, as if one day could hold that much. But holiness feels more like absence, like reaching out to find no touch.
Christmas bells go on without you, counting hours I never keep. Every chime a small reminder that the city doesn't sleep. I drink slowly in the kitchen, let the floorboards learn my weight. Standing in the same exact outline you stepped out of, clean and straight.
Through the wall I hear a carol, muffled choir above my head. Voices reaching for an answer none of them have ever met.
We once mocked these winter rituals, called them staged and overbright. You said still there's something honest in the way they fight the night. Now the fighting sounds mechanical, looping through a neighbor's door. I sit counting tiny breakpoints where your laughter should be poured. I unwrap the quiet slowly, fold it back along the seam, place it where your coat once waited, by the radiator, steady steam.
They say this day redeems the others, that it holds a different kind of weight. But gravity feels just the same here on the side where you are late.
Christmas bells keep spilling over into corners of this room. They collect in empty glasses, they hang heavy on the broom. Every bright and brittle jingle turns the silence sharp and clear, draws a clean white ring around the fact that you're not here. If memory is just a hallway, every door slightly ajar, you are light beneath the edges I can't reach but still see far. I don't know what this day means really, beyond the names we make it wear. A word for snow, a word for waiting, a word for who is and isn't there. The radio in someone's kitchen bleeds a hymn through copper pipes. It travels up like whispered rumors, turns the ceiling into stripes. The sound keeps layering around me, thin tin angels shaking glass. Every ring a small equation, solving for a missing mass. I picture you beneath a different ceiling, with a different set of chimes, maybe counting down the seconds on a clock that isn't mine.
Christmas bells refuse to falter, even when the room stands still. They climb the walls, they
in these rooms and in this skin. The fact that I can miss you here means you were once folded in.
The bells move on to other hours, leave this one humming in their wake. I stand barefoot on the cold tile, letting all the dishes wait.
Outside children test their voices on a sky that doesn't speak. Inside I test out living one slow, uneven, ringing week without you.
The day begins already ringing before my eyes can catch the light. Sound arise in little stairways, climbing up the quiet night. The street below is pale and empty, every car a careful thought. Breath hangs heavy on the windows, names I wrote and then forgot.
Walk home, the still waits above the sink, handle facing out, just so I take it down and fill it halfway. Watch the surface fill.
Say today is built for wonder, but wonder feels like distance now. A word for all the empty places where I still don't understand the how. These little lights across the city try their best against the air. Every window holds a story, mine just holds an empty chair. If faith is just continued motion, then here I am, still pouring tea, talking softly to the silence, as if it could answer me, as if it could answer me. Down the hall a song is leaking through the door of 24. Voices reaching for a promise they were told to ask you for. We used to stand outside that doorway, play along with every line, change the words, make them absurd, turn their hope into a sign, turn their hope into a sign. You once said maybe all this ritual is just a way to tell ourselves that time can circle, not just vanish, that loss can sit upon these shelves. Now the shelves are full of greetings from the lives of other rooms. I stack the ones with your old handwriting in a pile I never move. They say this day redeems the mid-begin. These little lights blur at the edges when I stare too long and hard. My reflection floats among them like a wrong note in a carol yard. If meaning is a set of choices, then I choose to stand and stay in this small cathedral of little lights where you are gone. And I remain. If love was never meant to fix us, only teach us how to see, then maybe missing you this morning is the clearest part of me. Maybe grief's a ringing pattern that continues when you leave. Not a wound that time will heal, but a sound we learn to weave. I hear children in the courtyard testing echoes, naming snow. Shouts bounce off the brick and vanish, proof that nothing gets to stay. The bells keep building in the distance, layered towers made of sound. Every note a small decision that refuses to come down. The rhythm knots around my breathing, pulls my chest from calm to flame. I press my palms against the window, quietly mouthing out your name. Most illegal places standing where your footsteps could return. I keep picturing this extender like a page that will not turn. Every light that glows without you is a proof you once were here. And the way it hurts this morning is the shape of how you were. These rising notes refuse to falter, even when my faith is thin. They keep carving out a pathway where your shadow used to spin. If there's any kind of mercy in this cold and ringing day, it's that I can stand here breathing while the world still moves your way. The day wakes up in bottom silver, snow piled high on windowsill. I stand alone inside the quiet, counting all the ways you're still. Your cup is waiting in the cupboard, I take it down and set it gently on the table out of spite. Streetlights fade into the morning, neighbors drag their trees outside. Every laugh leaks through the hallway like a life I left behind. They say this day was made for drawing, but some of us are standing here with one last voice around the table and a heart that won't be steered. So we sing your name in the winter, raise our hands. the dark together.
At dinner, no one says it, but we know. Every joke leans slightly backward toward the person we can't show. Someone pulls your old scarf closer, like a flag they're scared to fold. In their eyes, a tiny tremor of the story left untold.
They say this day is meant for peace, but peace is not the same as none. We're allowed to miss you loudly and still let the songs be sung. So we sing your name in the winter air. Let the night know where you've been. Every carol, every chorus hides a piece of you within. We light the dark together. We light dark together. All the aching, all the memory. Hey, we light dark together. We light the dark together. We light the dark together.
If love could never stop the losses, it can still refuse to fade. In the way we keep your stories, in the choices that we make.
You are woven in this morning, in the candles in the snow, in the way we lean toward each other when the cold begins to grow.
So we'll stand here in the doorway, let the winter fill our chests. If this hurt is proof you matter, we will wear it like a crest.
We still sing your name in the winter air. We still hold your place inside. And whenever this night feels endless, you're the reason that we strike. We light the dark together. We light the dark together. Every heart a little flare. We light the dark together. For the ones who can't be here. We light the dark together. 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 Every voice that keeps on singing is a bridge from us to heaven. We light the dark together. 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 We light the dark together.
until we meet again, wherever we'll light the dark together. Street is dressed in tinsel logic, straight lines drawn through crooked lines. Snow erases all the tire marks, like the past was never tried. Houses glow in quiet sequence, every window staged and worn. Someone shouting from the doorway, fate, earth from the storm. In my room the decorations never made it from their box. I just trace the shapes on cardboard, name each silence like a clock. People post their perfect mornings, tiny shrines to getting through. I keep scrolling past the captions, trying not to think of you. To say this day means more than others, like a number can decide. But meaning feels more like a fracture in the way the light arrives. So if you're somewhere under different lights, staring out at different snow, maybe you are asking questions too, about the things we'll never know. We're all just fractals in the snow, patterns no one planned to show. We fall apart, we halfway there and halfway here. I remember every winter came with rules we never kept. Say the right words, wear the right smile, hide the parts that haven't slept. You once said the season's honest, not because it fixes pain, but because the dark gets louder when we decorate its name. Now the dark sits at the table in a place you would have filled. I don't bargain with its presence, I just learn to let it build. They say be grateful you remember, as if memory always soothes. But every scene I see you standing in is a room I cannot move. So if you're somewhere under different lights, tracing lines in different air, maybe you are counting absences, just like everyone back here. We're all just fractals in the snow, breaking where the wind decides, trying hard to look like whole things as the season magnifies. Maybe love was never shelter, just a way to learn the storm. Not a promise we'd stop hurting, but a way to keep it warm. Maybe loss is not a failure, just the cost of having been. Proof that something truly reached us, left an outline in the skin. And I still feel you in the breaks, in every toss this day invents, in every coral through the walls that doesn't know it makes no sense. If there's a truth inside this night, it's that we hurt because we miss. So if we're scattered under different lights, trying hard to stand alone, maybe that's the secret center. No one really makes it home. We're all just fractals in the snow, brief designs the weather throws. If you feel the weight of distance, you're not broken.
just show